Dr. Abdulaziz is asking about the pointer, Zoom, and the red pen, saying it's from the Blackboard or from another program. No, it's from another program called Zoom. You just download it from the internet. You simply type Zoom download in Google. That's it. Just type Zoom download and you'll find it's a very simple application, just a few megabytes. You can open it, and even on YouTube, just type how to use Zoom and you'll find a 2 or 3 minute tutorial explaining how to use Zoom, the pen, and its colors. There are many colors, and Zoom is very simple to use. It's a lightweight program, which is one of its great features. It's very light in size and usability. All right, now let's continue together with file sharing. As you can see, file sharing is you open it, and even on YouTube, just type, here is the program for using the YouTube program. You will find a 2 or 3 minute explanation that explains to you how to zoom in, use the pen, and use its colors. There are many colors, Zoom, and it is very simple. I mean, Zoom is lightweight. It's light and easy to use. Let's continue with file sharing. File sharing is you can add images, PowerPoints, and PDFs. You can share files. Can I upload one or more files? Yes, you can. Click and select Share Now. Now say Add File. I'll take this path and add files like the Quran. You will find here that it says you can add images, add a PowerPoint file, and add a PDF. In this case, you can share files. The question here is, can I upload just one file or can I upload more than one? Yes, you can upload more than one file. Now, the file that you want to share, you just click on it and then select Share Now. So now we will come here and say Add File. I'm just going to take this path to specify it. I'll just take this path and come here and say I want to add files. For example, the file that is, let's say, the Quran. Of course, it will start uploading the file, and it takes a little time depending on the size of the file. Alright, I can add another file as well. I can easily bring in the PowerPoint file, for example. And the file that you want to share, you click on it, and then choose Share Now. So now we're going to say Add File. I'm just going to take this path to specify it. I'll just take this path and come here and say I want to add files. For example, the file that is, let's say, the Quran. Of course, he will start by uploading the file. The uploader will take a while depending on the size of the file or the size of the file. Okay, add another file. Is it possible to add another file? It's completely normal. I will bring the PowerPoint file here. This is an example. I can add a third file or an image without any problem. I can upload files, but it takes time if the file is large. I select it, click until it appears in the background, then Share Now. The file appears and I can interact and explain it. Now, I'll go back using the back button. I don't want this file. I want the Quran. I click on it, or Share Now, or Stop Sharing First. It brings the file, and I can click another file and Share Now. The point is, I can add more than one file. All right, click on it until it has the background that you see, the black one, and then click on Share Now. When I click on Share Now, the file will start to appear, as you can see, and I can start interacting with the file and explaining it without any issues at all. I can start explaining the file without any problems. All right, now I'm going to go back here. All right, through the button you see, which is the back button, I don't want this file. I want, for example, the Quran. I click on the Quran, okay? Or I can click Share Now, or Stop Sharing here first, no problem. Or I can click on it and share it here, and it will bring me the file. It brought me the file, and I can click on another file and say Share Now. So what's the point here? The point is that I can add more than one file. Before I start my virtual class, I can add all my files without any problem. And during the explanation, I can just hover over the file I want and say Share, without having to open and look for the file every time in the virtual classroom. No, you just add all the files at once. All right? Add all the files at once, then what? Share them here. Of course, to stop sharing, you just click the same button to stop sharing normally. You can easily stop sharing and it won't be visible anymore. That's regarding file sharing. Even when you leave this session and it's still available, you can come back to it and you'll find the same files there. The files will be there in the same place. So if you want to use them again, they won't be deleted unless you remove them yourself by clicking on the 3 dots and selecting Remove. But this session has ended and it's still available. If you come back the next day to this same session, you'll find the same files there too, and you'll be able to use them without any problem. Now let's talk about the poll. The poll here is very simple. It's just a couple of questions. It's multiple choice and yes or no questions. And you start by deciding what question you want the poll to be about. You gather the students' opinions and choose, for example, to say, here's the question, and it's optional. Let's say we're talking about the training level. For instance, what is the level of training, or whatever the question is? I mean, anything is possible here. For example, you can say good or very good. Or you can add your own option and say, this is weak. Click start to see the students' opinions. Here, the students will start choosing. They might say very good, or this is good, or this is weak, to see the percentages and understand the poll results, finish the poll and return without issues. Now, the next part we have is about interaction, which is the breakout groups. Everything is clear. The purpose of breakout groups is to clarify their function. In the end, you'll know what the poll was about, and what the opinions were. After that, you finish the poll, and that's it. You've completed the poll, and you can go back without any problem at all. That's regarding the poll. Now, the part we have next is about interaction, which is the breakout groups. Are there any issues with the previous parts before we work on the breakout groups? All right, everything is simple and clear for you. Now, the purpose of the breakout groups is to clarify what these breakout groups are. So now we're together here. Is there any problem with the previous parts before we start working on the breakout groups, if there is any issue? All right then. All the parts are straightforward and clear to you all. I want to ensure that. So, what's the purpose of the breakout groups? Allow me to clarify the breakout groups for you. Now we are together here, right now. All right. The coordinator and the participants are right here at this moment. The room we're in is called what? This room is called the main room. The room we're in is called what? Main room. So what does that mean? It means we're all in one room. We're all in one place. Good. So when they came and said we're going to create breakout groups, it means I want to separate if I have students or participants. Dr. Saleh, Dr. Abdullah, Dr. Abdel Baset, and Dr. Noura. I want to separate them into a group with me to discuss something specific privately. This part explains what breakout groups are. When I started the meeting, I hit record. Activating breakout groups stops the recording, so keep this in mind. And I separate them into a group, just me and them, and we talk and discuss something specific without the other participants in the main room knowing anything about us at all. This part explains what breakout groups are. Now you'll notice everyone. First, when I started the meeting with you, I hit record. So when we use breakout groups and activate them, it stops the recording. Keep this in mind, because if you use the breakout groups, it will stop the recording. So if you use the breakout groups and then stopped working with them and returned to your main layout, you should check or make sure. You'll find a note that the recording was paused. So you need to click start recording again to continue your recording. This is something to keep in mind regarding the breakout groups. First, when I started the meeting with you, I hit record. Now, when we use breakout groups and activate them, it stops the recording. Keep this in mind, because if you use the breakout groups, it will stop the recording. So, if you use the breakout groups and then stopped working with them and returned to your main layout, you should check or make sure. You'll find a note that the recording was paused. So, you need to click start recording again to continue your recording. This is something to keep in mind regarding the breakout groups. And when you return to your main layout, you should check or make sure. You'll find a note that the recording was paused. So you need to click start recording again to continue your recording. This is something that's part of the breakout groups.